Good evening, family. Welcome to another wonderful edition of the Art of His Thinks Thoughts Provocateur. Today is June 12th, 2020. Today is the 57th anniversary of the assassination, the murder, the lynching of Medgar Wiley Evers, one of my personal heroes. Medgar Wiley Evers was assassinated, was killed in front of his family at the age of 37 in his own driveway in Jackson, Mississippi. Medgar Evers was known as the general among civil rights leaders. As far as Baba Dick Gregory and others were concerned, he was the general. He was the field secretary for the NAACP down in Mississippi back in the 50s and early 60s. He was one of the people that helped lead independent investigation into the killing of Emmett Lewis Till, the 14-year-old Chicago who was killed because he allegedly did something to a white woman named Carolyn Bryant, who was still alive and I believe lives in North Carolina. But he was just 37 years old. He was a member of the Red Ball Express. They were like the Amazon drivers or the FedEx drivers of the military during World War II. The Red Ball Express, like my maternal grandfather, Soldier Boy Grip Taylor, Arthur Taylor Sr., he used to drive people. He used to drive supplies and stuff like that for the military, for the Third Army. General Patton's Third Army. He used to drive them supplies for them, like my grandfather during the D-Day Normandy invasion. Now you look at Saving Private Ryan, you don't see any black people in that movie that involves the D-Day invasion. I know you can make a case for Vin Diesel, but he's a quasi-ambiguous racial fellow. We don't know what Vin Diesel really is or what he really claims. But with that said, yeah, so he was shot. And you could say that he couldn't breathe. He probably said, I can't breathe because he had a big hole in his chest. And he couldn't breathe. And they said his last words were, "Turn me loose." So you got to remember that the people who created the climate of hate that led to Medgar's assassination were Dixiecrats. Senator James Eastland and Senator John Stennis of Mississippi, Dixiecrat icons. They created that climate with the White Citizen Council. The Mississippi Sovereignty Commission looked this stuff up. There's a documentary called Spies of Mississippi. It talks about how they use black spies, traitors, turncoats for the Mississippi Sovereignty Commission, the White Citizen Council, to betray and to eliminate and neutralize folks like Brother Medgar Evers. You understand what I'm saying? But the people I named, Stennis and Eastland, guess what? They the political mentors of your savior, black people, Joe Biden. Your white savior, daddies, political daddies or zaddies, were Dixiecrat icons from Mississippi, John Stennis and James Eastland. Look up James Eastland. I mentioned Emmett Till earlier. James Eastland was the cat that leaked the information to the press during the trial for the murderers of Emmett Till. That's J.W. Malum and Roy Bryant, whose wife Emmett Till allegedly wolf whistled at Carolyn Bryant. There's other things I heard, versions of that story, which is interesting. But he leaked information to the press about Emmett's father. You see how they do black people when black lives are endangered or killed or lynched? Especially if you're black male, like a Trayvon Martin or Mike Brown. They always try to make the victim the criminal. They make the victim the defendant. Like, I got to defend myself, I'm dead, based on stuff I did in my past. Like, nobody else did anything they did not proud of, or they made some choices that were not the best choices at that time, but they still didn't deserve to die the way they died. You understand what I'm saying? So James Eastland leaked some information about Emmett's father, Lewis Till, who was in the Army, about the situation surrounding his death in the military, because Mammy Till and the family were not privy to the details of why Lewis Till died in the military during World War II over in Europe. The only way she could identify her son's body, Mammy, was by the ring from his father, LT, with the initial LT, Lewis Till, on it. Kind of found out that Lewis Till was executed by the Army for allegedly raping and murdering white women over in Italy, I believe. So they executed him for that. Who's to say he did or did not do? I can say one thing, he didn't get a fair trial. Trust me, he didn't get no fair trial. So when the people heard about that and that was leaking in the press, People said, well, the fruit don't fall too far from the tree. Maybe Emmett was on his way to becoming a monster or a boogeyman like his father. And then the guys got off, of course. They brag about what they did to Emmett in Look magazine. They were considered person non grata, or they were considered not welcome in the white community after that. They were not welcome in the black community where they made their money off of. Their store was mostly patronized by black people, so they didn't get the money from them as they ran out the South. So remember that the folks who helped kill Medgar Evers, who helped let the folks who killed Emmett Till off the hook, were Joe Biden's mentors, John Stennis and James Eastland. Never forget those names, family. We love you madly. Spread the word. The people that helped kill Medgar Evers are Joe Biden's mentors. Thank you.